Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk. I'm an integrative health practitioner, and we have been on a little bit of a journey going through what's called the de-stress protocol. And it's a protocol that was developed by Dr. Stephen Cabral. It's one of the number one things I use in my practice to help people get back into rebalance. So the first week we covered the D, and that is the diet. And the diet, I'm just going to briefly, the only thing I'm going to share about the diet is anti-inflammatory. And if you want to know more about that, you can send an email to Sue at Hello, Your Health is Calling. Okay, I totally messed that up. It's actually support at helloyourhealthiscalling.com. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anti-inflammatory. I have a list. It's all the foods that you can eat that's going to support an anti-inflammatory diet. And then the second letter in the protocol is E, and that is for exercise. Not necessarily hitting the gym for 4 hours a day and killing yourself, but movement. And movement is going to be one of your best friends when you're trying to rebalance your body and get healthy. So the S in de-stress is stress itself. And that is our topic for today. And it is one of those topics that is so big. And everybody talks about it. They think that stress is something that happens to you as an outside source. It's something that's coming at you, whether it's something family, finances, work. That's how we all relate with stress. We think about those negative aspects that are coming at us. But one of the things that we don't understand about stress is that it is one of the number one things that we find as a root cause for about 90% of the diseases that we encounter in our lifetime. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to give you some magic potion to remove the stress in your life, because that just isn't possible. It's here to stay, especially now. Our, ancient ancestors, their types of stress was famine, maybe an attack from an outward people or an animal, but we are under almost 24/7 stress. And it's not going to go away, but we can control our reaction to stress. And we can control how we treat ourselves during super high times of stress. So one of the stressors that I don't think that we consider too much is digestive stress, and the stress on our digestive system and our gut, and how that affects our body. And as I've said in previous podcasts, is our brain and our gut talk, and they're supposed to be best friends, and they're supposed to work together. But when we have digestive stress, then our gut is sending really weird mixed signals to our brain. And the brain is then sending a signal to our body that is possibly sending a signal that we need to attack something, so our immune system gets ramped up, or it's sending a signal of fatigue, that our body needs to rest so that we can, get through some of the stress that's happening. So really, what I want to focus on is what stress does and what happens to our body when we feel stress, how leaky gut or increased intestinal permeability, how it's directly correlated to a lot of the diseases that we see in modern times that we didn't see 100 years ago. So that's my plan for today. I want to introduce to you first the autonomic nervous system. So all of our systems have to be in balance. That includes our nervous system. And so, we know that our hormones have to be balanced, and we know that our exercise need to be balanced. But our nervous system is one of those things that is super important that we keep in balance. So the nervous system there's two sides. There's the sympathetic and then there's the parasympathetic. So your sympathetic nervous system is the one that is going to put you in fight or flight. It prepares your body for the stress. It's the cortisol, it's that adrenaline rush you got. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure increases. But what also happens is your digestion decreases, because in ancient times, if you were under stress, you did not need to, you didn't eat, number one, and you didn't need to digest. So your body starts to shut down these systems. It also doesn't need to reproduce when you're under stress, because you're not a friendly position to have reproductive issues or to carry a child. So your hormones are directly related to this. So your parasympathetic nervous system, the other side, is your rest and digest. Your digestion turns on, your body returns to a calm state, that cortisol is getting lowered, your hormones are being produced, you've got plenty of DHEA, which is the precursor to all of your hormones. You've got melatonin being produced so that you can rest at night, your heart rate goes down, your body can start to repair. So those are the two sides, and I'm going to make a very broad statement that probably 99% of us are always living in that sympathetic nervous system. We're always on the side of fight or flight. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then I'm going to go into what actually happens when these two sides of our nervous system are way out of balance. So hang on for a couple minutes, and we'll be right back.
Hello? Your health is calling. Feeling bloated, low on energy, dealing with hormone imbalances? Integrative health coach Sue Kostyk is here to assist you. Reach out to Sue for practical health solutions guided by her professional training as a holistic coach. Sue specializes in identifying the underlying causes of health issues and restoring balance. Don't let your health concerns impact your well-being. Contact Sue Kostyk today at 917-362-5176 or via email at sue@symmetryhealthandwellness.com, and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.
Hello, Your Health is Calling, a new show brought to you by the Reinvented Life Network. Tune in Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so welcome back. So what happens when we feel stress? Like I said, when we reviewed the slide, your sympathetic nervous system gets turned on. And it's a good thing, because the sympathetic nervous system is a protection. It's a good thing, and it's protective. It helps us to react to those things that are causing us stress. But what is happening in today's society is we're staying. We're not leaving that sympathetic nervous system. So our bodies are in that protective mode 24/7. And at least until we go to sleep. And then we're not sleeping because our minds are so busy and we're under so much stress. So that's a whole other issue that we'll talk in another one. But let's talk about a couple of things, actually a lot of things, that will happen to us when we stay in that sympathetic nervous system too long. What's going to happen is our metabolism is going to lower, because we're not digesting properly. And if you are the type when you're under stress and you don't eat, your metabolism is getting lowered. What's going to happen too is you're going to gain weight. So, gaining weight is our body's way of protection. So, think about a bear who hibernates, they eat a ton of food and then they go to sleep. So that's kind of what your body is doing. It's going into this protective mode and hibernation mode. So our metabolism is lowering, we're gaining weight, our immune system is getting weakened, we've got all this cortisol and adrenaline just flying all over in our bodies. And so what's happening then is our body's going to say, okay, I have to create all this cortisol because I'm in so much stress. So I'm not going to create DHEA, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. It's literally robbing Peter to pay Paul because you've got to create that cortisol to keep moving around. You're going to start being fatigued because you have no energy. You know, one of the things that I want to kind of pause for a moment and talk about too is there's a lot of neurological diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia that are now by the medical world, the conventional medical world, being called lifestyle diseases. And due to chronic stress early in life, doctors can trace stress in the brain of a deceased Alzheimer's patient. And if it is known that there was a lot of chronic stress early in life, I mean, even 20s, 30s, you know, managing your stress so early in life is just there's so many health benefits anyway. But if you have a predisposition to the Alzheimer's gene, then really managing stress is going to be super, super important. Um, you know, the point about hormone disruption too, it's like, why does this happen? You know, it's like, as I was talking, you know, our bodies are smart, and the only purpose it has is to stay alive. Literally. I mean, it sounds very simple, but that's it. So it's going to do everything it possibly can to stay alive, and it's going to shut down systems. It's going to rob Peter to pay Paul until Peter has nothing left. And that's when we start getting into a lot of these autoimmune situations, a lot of different diseases. You know, I said earlier, and the percentage is kind of staggering, that 90% of our diseases are caused by stress. And it's really the underlying root cause. And so, you know, what can we do? What can we do we can't eliminate stress, we can manage it, we can be kinder to ourselves. You know, primitive man, literally, the only kinds of stress they were under was to find food and to survive. And our culture has created stress to be something, like I said earlier, a badge. You know, it's a badge of honor we're wearing around. Oh my gosh, I worked 14 days or 14 hours today. Aren't I great? You know, literally, if you have a type of job that's requiring that, they're not caring about you. You know, it's literally, you're killing yourselves. So, you know, when we talk about the hormones and how stress lowers our hormones, we have a lot of thyroid issues. And one of the main hormones that the body starts to decrease is the thyroid gland, because we don't need digestion and we don't need weight management when we're under a lot of stress, because like I said earlier, our body gains weight, we put on fat because it's a protection. You know, we think that our body feels like it's going to go into a famine or something, and so we pack on weight. You know, we talk about belly fat, and that is a huge sign that you have way too much cortisol flying around your body. Belly fat is one of the most dangerous fats to have because it starts to pack around those organs. So let's talk about the thyroid for just a minute. And what happens is it starts to slow down because of stress. And the slowing down of the thyroid, it allows your body to conserve calories. It allows your body to gain weight because it thinks it is going into starvation. And like I talked about before, it's that hibernation protection. Um, I have so many things to say. I just don't want to go down too many rabbit holes. But one thing about the thyroid, too, is if you engage in really high intensive exercise while you're under a lot of stress and you're reducing your calories, that is like the perfect storm that's going to lower your metabolism so low. And that's why we find a lot of people that their thyroid function is low. It's because of all the stress. So, hopefully some of this is making sense to people and you can relate a little bit. And so, what can we do? It's like, I know this is a lot of doom and gloom and not good news because we are in a very stressful society and we can't escape stress. But what we can do is we can learn how to respond to it and we can learn the different things to do, even if you pause and take note of when you are stressed, what those triggers are, and just being really mindful of it. I talk about exercise, and I don't mean to go to the gym for 2 hours because you need to work off the stress. What you're doing is you're pumping your body just more full of cortisol to counteract the effects of the high energy or the high exercise. But just like, 10, 20 minutes, even if you're just doing body weight exercises, stretching, low impact yoga, walking. I can't recommend enough what walking can do to lower the effects of stress. It shifts you almost immediately into that parasympathetic nervous system. It's that other side. The walking, especially if you can get out in nature and walk. I talk about grounding, and grounding is kind of a buzzword now. If you haven't heard of it, what grounding is simply getting outside, putting your bare feet in grass, soil, something that connects you to the earth, because the earth is negatively charged. So it is going to immediately start taking those emotions and putting them over into the parasympathetic nervous system. You're going to start sliding over. 10 minutes, that's all it takes. It's there, you can Google it. The science behind it is amazing. A lot of people who suffer with anxiety and depression, grounding is one of the best things that you can do because it connects you to a negative ion. Being at the beach is full of negative ions, the sand. You want to have that um, other charge. So, like I talk about the balance, you were positively charged. You want to go to a negatively charged thing. So, putting your feet on the earth, getting back to nature. If you are in a place where you can't do that, go for a walk and just get your face in the sunlight. If it's cloudy, you're still getting rays. I promise you, it's still coming through. Just being out in nature, it just does wonders. Laughter. People laugh at me when I say laughter, but laughter truly is the best medicine. You can never not feel good after you've laughed. And spending time with friends is another way that you can just shift from that sympathetic nervous system over to the parasympathetic. It's just as easy as that. Get together with your friends. If you've had a stressful day at work, meet up with some friends. Drinking alcohol probably isn't going to be the best thing for you. But if you meet up with some friends, have some great conversation, throw in some laughter. Um, if you are a person who holds things in, you are not comfortable talking about conflict, you've had a really rough day at work, there's a lot of conflict, but you're not comfortable to confront people and things, scream therapy. I'm telling you. I have had some clients who are very timid people and they're not comfortable with conflict. So getting in your car after a very stressful event and screaming it out is an excellent way of shifting, getting it out, shift back over to that parasympathetic nervous system. Meditation is another super way that you can shift your mind, quieting things. There are so many apps. The Calm app, I just bring that one up because my daughter uses it. There are so many things that you can do on the Calm app to shift your nervous system from one way to the other. It's literally within 5 minutes. All you need to do is quiet. Just need to quiet your mind. Prayer, get connected with your creator. There are so many attributes to quieting your mind and not thinking. I know especially for women and moms, not thinking is almost an impossibility. I suffer. But if you can take 5 minutes, get quiet, put on some soft music, put on a meditation, anything that's going to quiet your mind. For those of you who love music, put on some great music and dance. That is, you're getting exercise, you're moving your body, you are quieting your mind, your body is moving so you're not thinking. So it's, dancing around the house is not a bad thing. And yeah, people might look at you strangely, but if you're alone in the house, by all means do it. Massage is another great way to really help to get into that parasympathetic nervous system. Gentle massage, not deep tissue massage. That's a whole other thing, but just a nice gentle massage. That goes along with yoga too. I talk about yoga a lot, but not doing, the power yoga. Make sure that everything is gentle. A lot of us really downplay supplements. And actually, part of the de-stress protocol, there's going to be a whole podcast on supplementation. Because if you were like me or still have this mindset that you can get all of your vitamins and nutrients from food, it's a lie. Because there's so many reasons why we can't get our nutrients from food, and I'm not going to go down all those rabbit holes, but we can't. It's scientific, it's known, you can Google it. But supplementation is really important, especially if you are under a lot of stress, because you are using up all of the minerals, all the amino acids, all of the vitamins that your body is producing just to manage your stress response. So supplementing with things like vitamin B, vitamin C, zinc, magnesium. I run a functional lab test. There's two different ones that I run. One is a hair test that measures how stressed you are and your stress response, and it measures all of your minerals, your stress minerals. It's a hair test. It's through your hair. It's really fabulous to figure out what you're using up and what you have too much of. It also tests your heavy metals, which another podcast, another day. I also run a functional lab test that it tests your cortisol throughout the day. It's not just a one-time shot. It's a spit test that you do morning, noon, afternoon, and night so that we can see where your cortisol levels are. So that's one thing that's so helpful, especially if you lead a stressful lifestyle, to know exactly where you are in what you need to supplement or what you need to take out. So these functional lab tests are great. And if you want any more information, shoot me an email at support@helloyourhealthiscalling.com. I'll send you some quick information. We talk about adaptogens. Those are really important also because, as their name indicates, it helps your body adapt. We've heard of ashwagandha, we've heard of ginseng, we've heard of rhodiola. There's a lot of mushrooms that are all the rage now. So those are super helpful too when you are really trying to manage your stress levels and get your vitamin and supplement levels up to a place where your body can actually use them. And again, I'm only going to touch on this very lightly, but quality is super important. I do not support going to the drugstore and buying your vitamins where off the shelf there, or Costco, we're probably going to get a lot of pushback on that, but not good quality. Again, any questions, shoot me an email. I have lots of resources for good quality supplements that you're actually going to use and absorb. So let's recap a little bit. So stress, huge topic. We need to manage it. We can't escape it. So, if you're starting to feel the effects of stress and you feel like your metabolism is just not working, you're starting to gain weight, yet you're exercising and you think your diet's correct, if you've got a lot of fatigue, if you're not sleeping, if you feel depressed, anxiety, if your hormones are out of balance, you may go to the doctor and have those labs run, and they may tell you that your levels are okay. But in the functional medicine world, we look at levels way differently, and we can see where perhaps they're not really as good as you think they are, especially if we have men and women who are over 50 and you're starting to, see some of the effects of hormone imbalance, and you are in a stressful situation, you're probably not in balance. So again, a simple functional lab test in your own home, we can figure those things out. So finally, let's talk about our mind and how we behave about stress. Our mind is super powerful. And if you are constantly under stress, your mind is becoming very comfortable with that. So it's telling you that this is where you want to stay. But we have to really get back in touch with our mind and really start to take, just start to assess, how are you feeling? How is your stress level? Are you starting to feel the effects of stress? Have you perhaps been diagnosed with an autoimmune situation? Are you feeling like your digestion is just not where it should be? These are a lot of things that you need to start asking yourself versus being okay with what society says stress is good. We are not built to live a stressful life. We are built to live a fun, very productive life walking in our calling. And when we are in constant stress and start to have diseases creep up, autoimmune situations creep up, we find that we're not enjoying any part of life, then we have to make changes. And I'm here to help. Shoot me an email, call into the station. We have so many tools in our tool belt that can get you on the right track, that can start balancing your stress, start balancing the different systems in your body so that you can live a happy and productive life. It is possible. Thanks for tuning in. I can't wait for next week. We'll be talking about toxin removal. Huge subject. I know it is. So hope everybody has a wonderful day, and remember, reduce your stress. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.